Israel's parliament overwhelmingly passed a bill to ban the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees in Near East, UNRWA. The Knesset even went to label the UN organization as a terrorist organization. In the next report, we tell you the impact of that and why are global leaders deploring the Israeli decision.
UNRWA's fate is hanging by a delicate thread, as does the survival of over 5 million Palestinian refugees. This week, Israel's parliament voted to ban the United Nations Relief and Works Agency from operating in the country within 90 days. Knesset's decision prohibits the agency from conducting any activity or offering services within Israel, including in occupied East Jerusalem, Gaza and the West Bank. The aid agency currently employs 30,000 Palestinians across the region, serving the civic and humanitarian needs of 5.9 million descendants of those refugees. Knesset's move to disband UNRWA endangers the survival of these employees and Palestinian refugees across Arab nations. The restriction conflicts with international agreements on humanitarian aid, leaving a crucial service provider hamstrung in the face of mounting humanitarian need.
We are deeply troubled by this legislation. It could shutter UNRWA operations in the West Bank, in Gaza, in East Jerusalem. It poses risks for millions of Palestinians who rely on UNRWA for essential services, including healthcare and primary and secondary education. UNRWA, of course, plays a critical role in providing services to Palestinians in Gaza, the West Bank, and throughout the wider region.
You take away the healthcare workers, you take away the nutritional support, you take away the people who will provide the life-saving supplies for a population that is physically, absolutely on death's door, and psychologically, of course, in uncharted territory. You take away these healthcare workers, you take away the nutritionists, then we will see many more children die.
We emphasize that stopping support for UNRWA will have disastrous consequences, as well as preventing it from operating in the Palestinian territories, because we are talking about more than 6 million from our Palestinian brothers who are benefiting from the relief services of that agency.
Israel's hostility towards UNRWA is not new. The UN says Israeli forces have conducted 464 attacks on UNRWA premises since last year. The aid agency claims it lost 233 UNRWA staff members till date. Over 190 of UNRWA's installations, including schools and clinics, have been hit by Israeli strikes. For years now, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has been trying to shut down the agency's operations in Gaza. On the 11th of June 2017, Netanyahu called for the UN agency to be dismantled. He claimed that the UNRWA supported anti-Israeli sentiments while drawing out the refugee problem. After the Hamas assault last year, Netanyahu yet again found reason to shut down the organization's operations.
There are other agencies in the UN, there are other agencies in the world. They have to replace UNRWA. UNRWA is totally infiltrated with Hamas. It has been in the service of Hamas, in its schools, and in many other things. I say this with great regret because we hope that there would be an objective and constructive body to offer aid.
But what does Netanyahu mean by perpetuating a refugee problem? UNRWA allows Palestinian refugee men to transfer their refugee status from one generation to another. This key provision gives Palestinians the right to fight for their eventual return to Gaza. The clause ensures that generations do not lose all hope to return to their ancestral homeland after the death of the original 1948 refugees who were forcibly displaced in the Nakba. In 1948, the creation of Israel resulted in thousands of Palestinians becoming refugees in their own home, and their only survival support ever since has been the UNRWA that was established by the UN General Assembly in 1949. But if Netanyahu gets his way, there is a looming threat over UNRWA's future, and more so this time around. The leader has ordered Israeli forces to find an alternative to the agency, one that can facilitate life-saving supplies to the Palestinians. However, an agency run by Israel can only mean more administrative control over not just Gaza, but Palestinian refugees in other countries as well.